Renegades, how are you? Renegade, never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day. You know that Eminem and Jay-Z song? YouTube's gonna copyright me because I sung it so good. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for suggesting all those songs. Like I said, many interesting titles. But I want to get to know the person behind that music also a little better. And people have suggested this video a few times, so I said, come on, let me, because defining success, it is a tough one, I think. 1 million subscribers, well deserved from what I've heard so far, and I hope he will get many more.
I want to keep this short and sweet because I wrote something that I want to share with you. But first of all, I just want to say how grateful I am. I've reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which is a flipping huge milestone. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who supported my music over the years, whether you're newly on board or have been here for a while. I wanted to say thank you to the YouTube reaction community who have gotten behind my stuff in a big way and really helped me reach this goal. So thank you guys. I wanted to read this passage that I wrote about success. It's too much for me to remember right now, so bear with me. But yeah. Success to me means that I have a responsibility that transcends me. If I have a platform where people are paying attention, then I feel like it's my duty to make that count. It's far more important than my aspirations with music and what I could personally gain. There's a saying that stuck with me recently, which was a rising tide lifts all ships. Somehow...
Sorry to pause it so quickly, but I've seen that comment beneath the Ren reactions. And I know that saying, of course, a rising tide lifts all ship, and I fully support that. Why bring each other down if you in a similar space or like competing, and in hip hop, competitiveness is a thing. It's a sport, but sometimes it divides the fans. When you do a song with two people, it's always like, who was better, who washed the other one, and like, no, they're making a great song together. It's collaborative effort. That is a part, and people might not agree with this, that I don't always enjoy that about hip hop, and like Ren said, a rising tide lifts all boats, and I can definitely get behind that.
The saying that stuck with me recently, which was a rising tide lifts all ships. Somehow, by finding success for myself has meant that I can find success for the people around me, and that makes me feel very rich. I'm in a very strange position right now where I owe much of my success to the most destructive force in my life, which has been the turbulence of my physical and mental illness. The thing that has by far brought me the most pain has been a source of constant inspiration, which ironically led to creations which brought me the most joy.
I feel that a lot. From great pain comes great art. There's also from great joy that great art comes, but we relate to the struggle because many people go through that same struggle or a similar struggle. I have had issues with alcoholism and addiction, and I've written a trilogy that was inspired by that. It is fiction. It's written in Dutch, and yeah, it was just me bleeding onto the page, right? And I talk about that a lot. I had a podcast in Dutch, where I also talked about this. So I love that he shares that, and I understand the conundrum you're in. But yeah, man, turning pain into something beautiful, yeah, man. I feel you, man.
Which ironically led to creations which brought me the most joy. Creating art which means something to somebody else and can potentially be a companion to somebody else in the dark justifies my own pain, and I desperately needed that to be justified. There are a lot of people alive today who live in the dark. It's a place that I'm very familiar with. In the peak of my health problems, I was severely underweight. All my meals had to be restricted and blended, and I was so tired that I couldn't participate in life. I couldn't socialize, I couldn't watch films, I couldn't read. My bones constantly hurt. Even standing in the shower was excruciating and exhausting. and this went on for years, with no answers. Nobody could have ever convinced me during that time that my pain and suffering would be a source for something good, because it felt insidious. Nobody could have ever convinced me that something constructive can come from hurting every day. But I'm here to tell you that if you are hurting every day, don't be afraid. One thing I know to be a constant law of the universe, is that life is inconsistent. Life is beautiful and life is hideous. Life is kind and life is cruel. Dancing inside this dichotomy and inconsistency makes me know that you won't hurt forever, whether that comes from resolution of what you're going through or acceptance of where you are. You won't hurt forever.
Hey, man. Pain is and of course I don't wish anybody pain and misery, especially not at the degree that this man suffered and for so long, and probably, still has to deal with that today. But pain is a teacher. It can guide you, and it tells you you're alive. And man, I know, man, when you're in it, that message is it sometimes goes over your head. You don't have time to think about this. It's only in hindsight, that you get that benefit and hopefully get to grow, which he did. It's not easy. I understand that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I also have a daughter, and when they're so young, they're innocent. And then, and life is beautiful, like you said. But that one day her heart's going to be broken, or, the reality of this world hits, sometimes the brutality of this world hits. And it's painful to know that is coming. But of course, I want to teach her to focus on the beautiful side, to show her life is beautiful, and there's beautiful people out there like Ren, and try to focus more on the positive, because I did not do that for many years.
You don't know yet whether or not your pain conceals gold. It definitely conceals wisdom, and it's definitely a catalyst for filling you with empathy. So stand strong, my friends, and don't let the darkness consume you, because once you know the dark and become intimate with it, you become very capable of wielding the light. You could be instrumental for changing this world for the better. There's nothing humble about shrinking or doubting yourself, because you are large. You can be ferocious, and you could be magnificent. For the medical industry, who too often let people fall through the cracks, it's your duty to do better. For the people living in the light, who have either stepped out of their shadow or have never had to walk beside it, it's your responsibility to put out untainted love. Our own greed, desire to ferociously expand, and decisions rooted in self-interest can benefit ourselves in a material sense, but can be very destructive to the hive and the world around us, ultimately hurting ourselves. So we really must consider that if we're going to step into a bright future. As humans, we have an incredible potential, and it would be a shame to throw it away. So community, humanity, and changing our relationship with the natural world so it leans more towards homeostasis must be a priority. Priority number one.
I agree with that, but on this one, I'm a little, skeptical, because it doesn't seem that these large corporations and governments are going that way. And like he said, he's in a conundrum with, his pain is now a source of inspiration, and basically turning his pain into profit. Not for that reason, but what the medical industry is doing is turning somebody else's pain into profit. And that gets me... Yeah, that gets me going. That is, and I've seen it firsthand from people I love that also, go to many doctors and try to get medical help and fall through the cracks, just like Ren said. And that's painful to see, these large corporations and sometimes politicians talk about what they are doing, but it seems like they are so far removed from what is real and reality, from what's happening in day-to-day life with many, many people who are suffering.
If you're watching this and there's a knot tied up in your stomach with bitterness, anger, or hatred for your fellow human being, be with it, feel it, understand it, express it, and then let it go. You're hurting. Give yourself love, forgive yourself, and then project that love outwards, and the anger will pass. We have a decision in every interaction to tilt the world towards heaven or hell, towards Jannah or Jahannam, utopia or dystopia, and some people's ideas of heaven will be another's image of hell. So tread carefully, but treat those differences with respect. Tapestries are made beautiful because of the variety in the sum of their parts.
Wow.
Thank you to 1 million people inside this rich tapestry for the opportunity for me to try and spread my own vision of what I believe to be good. And thank you for justifying my pain. Thank you. I love you.
Wow, what a beautiful soul. What a beautiful human being, you know. And that's exactly what I was trying to say, like focus on the people like this. There are many out there, even though, you know, the internet, social media, mainstream media, whatever, is really focusing on that other part, which we cannot turn a blind eye to. It's definitely a part of our world. But come on, give a little more shine to the light. I think that will return net positive results. I'm very, very interested in his catalog and the titles that looked so, you know, appealing to me. But I am also very, very interested where this man is going to go in the future. I think this is only the beginning. I love that. A force for good. We need that. Thank you for suggesting this, and it will give me another layer when I'm going into more of Ren's music. I love this. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a great day, a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.